Paul hated his wife Amanda. They had lived together for 15 years. He saw her every day in the morning for 15 years of their life, but it was only in the last year that he became wildly irritated by her habits. Especially when she would wake up in the morning stretching and saying, "Hello sunshine, it's going to be a beautiful day today." A seemingly ordinary phrase, but her skinny arms, her sleepy face disgusted him. The woman knew about her husband's affair on the side, even knew the woman her husband had been dating for about 3 years. But time tightened the wounds of ego and left only a sad plume of needlessness. Amanda forgave her husband for his aggression, constant inattention and desire to outlive his youth. This is how she decided to live since she found out she was sick and the disease was eating away at her day by day and would soon defeat her. Amanda's first wish was to tell everyone about the disease. But realizing her imminent death, the woman decided to keep quiet about everything. Paul, meanwhile, made a firm decision to divorce. The man tried to remember the feelings he once had for his wife, but could not. It suddenly seemed to him that she had annoyed him so much since the first day they met. He took a picture of his wife out of his purse and as a sign of his determination to divorce her, tore it into small pieces. He called his wife and asked her to meet him at the restaurant where they had celebrated their 15th anniversary 6 months earlier. Amanda arrived first. Before the meeting, Paul came home and spent a long time looking in the closet for the papers he needed to file for divorce. In a somewhat nervous mood, he was turning out the contents of the drawers and suddenly found an unfamiliar dark blue folder that he had not seen before. The man opened it and found there numerous tests, extracts from medical records and stamps of medical institutions. All the pages bore his wife's name. A hunch hit him like an electric shock. He went on the internet, entered the name of the diagnosis into a search engine, and the screen came up with a terrible phrase, from 6 to 18 months. He glanced at the dates. 6 months had passed since the examination. What happened next he remembered poorly. Amanda waited for him 40 minutes. The phone didn't answer, so she paid the bill and went outside. It was beautiful autumn weather, the sun was not baking, but it warmed the soul. The woman thought how beautiful life was, how good it was on earth. For the first time in all the time she had known the disease, she was filled with self-pity. Amanda walked down the street and saw the joy in people's eyes that everything was ahead, that there would be winter, and that spring would surely follow. But she was well aware that she would never experience such a feeling again. The resentment grew inside her and burst out in a stream of endless tears. And for the first time in life Paul felt acutely and almost physically the transience of life. He remembered his wife when she was young, when they had just met and were full of hope. And he had loved her then. It suddenly seemed to him that those 15 years were gone. And everything was ahead. Happiness, youth, life. In those last days he surrounded her with care, was with her 24 hours a day and experienced unprecedented happiness. He was afraid that she would leave, he was ready to give his life just to keep her. And if someone would remind him that a month ago he had hated his wife and dreamed of divorce, he would say, "It wasn't me." He saw how hard it was for her to say goodbye to life, how she cried at night, thinking he was asleep. He understood there was no worse punishment than knowing the date of her demise. He saw her struggling for life, clinging to the most delusional hope. Amanda died 2 months later. He covered the road from the house to the cemetery with flowers. He cried like a baby when they lowered the coffin. He became 1,000 years older. Take care of your feelings, take care of each other. Finding your loved one is not easy, and you can lose them very quickly.